Good morning, my four friends here this morning. I have a quote for you today from Kabir. As the river enters into the ocean, so my heart touches thee. As the river enters into the ocean, so my heart touches thee. Capital T, H-E-E. The deeper that we go inside ourselves, the deeper we go into the ocean of God, the deeper our heart travels inside to the ocean, giving us a blending with the oneness of being. Today, I want to talk a little bit about falling asleep. Hi, Karen. I want to talk a little bit about falling asleep during meditation. You can nod off. So, the other night, 2 nights ago, I did a 9 p.m. interview for an hour and a half, ending at 10:30. I'm usually in bed by 8:30, sometimes asleep by 9, pretty often. And then I had to get up quite early in the morning for a very productive 7 a.m. appointment yesterday. And so during meditation yesterday, having had about 5 hours of sleep, I run a private group on Tuesdays to which you are invited, by the way. It's on Zoom, and you can find the link on my website at peterpanagore.love. But anyway, I was doing this yesterday. I kept nodding off during meditation. And it's okay to nod off during meditation. If you nod off during meditation, it just means that you're tired. There's no rule that you need to stay awake. If you fall asleep during your meditation time, it's totally fine because you need the rest. So don't worry about that. People often say, "Oh, no, I'm not awake enough to meditate," or, "Oh, I kept falling asleep." It's okay. Just come back to it tomorrow and the next day and the next day and keep at it. It is a long journey. Meditation is not a short trip. In the old days, and it still happens today, it's most effective when you spend your entire life doing it all day long. But who can do that in the real world unless you live in a cave or a convent or an ashram? None of us can do that when we live in the real world, when we live in the main world. So we do what we can and we meditate when we can and we meditate consistently because it's the consistency of the practice that allows your heart to enter into the ocean of love. There's this word satsang, and I hadn't heard it for a long time because when I went to divinity school, I ended up studying Christian mysticism, but I'd had previously been exposed to a lot of the thinking of the East. But I kind of put it out of my mind over all the years that I was in the pulpit and working with the Christian end of things. Satsang is being with the truth. That's the goal of our practice, not grasping it, not holding it, not even aiming at the river, pardon me, at the ocean itself, but just being with it. That's what we do in our meditation, our centering prayer. So, hey, Charlie. Hello, Sheila. Hi, Susie out there in Colorado, and Wanda. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming this morning. Appreciate the likes on the video. That really helps. So does subscribing, and the alerts, they help too. So, oh, and I also want to thank everybody for all the support that you've given me over the last few months as we get this thing going. Okay, so hi Russell, if you have any questions, pop them up in about 20 minutes. I'm going to set the clock here. It's 8:04 here on the eastern seaboard of the USA. Where it's a little chilly this morning. There's ice on the pond. Hi, from Kansas City. There's ice on the pond outside. No more ducks will be coming, and if they do, they're gonna land on the pond and skate across it and discover that it's ice and not water. That happens. All right, my friends. I'm gonna set the timer for 20 minutes, and see you in 20. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, I am there. That's the point of this. We meditate together. So here we go. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face, your feet, your legs. Breathe into your belly. Hold a moment. Exhale through your nose. Hold a moment. Inhale. Follow your breath with your mind and your mantra, your prayer, your sutra. Hi, everybody. Kristen, Adams, you asked me to say more about something, and now because of my meditation, I don't know what it was. So if you can ask me again, I'll do my best to answer you. Hello, Kyansk from Kansas City. In the meanwhile, I talked a little bit about the first chakra yesterday. You have spoken about prana. Oh, yes, prana, chi, prana, energy, life force, Holy Spirit. So, the practice of meditation can be linked in with your chakras, which is what I do. It's my practice. And as we open our chakras, prana rises. I work mostly in my chakras inside of my yoga practice. My yoga practice and my meditation practice are complementary. In the yoga practice, I use my breath inside my chakras in a more powerful way, a more directed way, and drive my mind inside them, sometimes with relaxation, sometimes with force of mind and breath. As the chakras open, the prana becomes more energetic. It becomes more lively. It becomes more present. And when you begin to access your prana, you can then begin to move it inside your body in your meditation or in your yoga. That's what the whole idea is between linking one chakra to the other chakra, is to be able to not just open each individual one up, but to link each one in succession, or to link each one by, as we were doing yesterday, for the throat to the number one. So here to there. It's a natural result. The prana rises as a natural result of the opening of the chakras and the linking of them together. And once you become adept at accessing your prana inside each chakra and linking them together, then it becomes inflamed inside you. And it becomes this larger radiant field around you. And it all comes from not using your imagination, but just focusing your mind, empty-minded, on each of the chakra spaces in succession. You can run them as a link right inside of you, one after the other. Excuse me. Or you can just focus on an individual one. I've talked a lot about focusing on this one as the start place, but you can link them together, and the prana just rises naturally. And it can be tangible. It's a tangible experience when the prana rises. In my yoga practice, when the prana rises, I become very hot. Like I sweat. I sweat. I become very heated. My hands become red. My sweat drips off my face, even in a cool room, by driving my mind inside my chakras and linking them together. But it comes as a natural result of just looking at them, just over and over and over again, and linking them together. Hello from Nova Scotia, over there across the way of the Gulf of Maine. Rachel, hi there. Olga, which yoga practice would you recommend? I practice a sort of mashup yoga. I've studied a whole lot of different forms: Ashtanga, Kundalini, Vinyasa, Hatha, um, something else, some other one too, Vipassana, a little bit of that, Kriya. what I recommend is utilizing your mind and your breath inside your yoga practice. So you can practice any form of yoga you like. But if you want to raise your prana inside your yoga, when the instructor says, now raise your prana, it doesn't really work that way. You raise your prana with your mind and your breath by attention inside your body at your chakras. And just by breathing into them with your mind in your asanas, it's a natural result for the chakras to open and the prana rises on its own. So here's the technique. The beginning technique is when you're in, say, mountain pose, which is basically standing. Your feet are a little far apart. You get your yoga toes going. Your toes are spread. Your chest is up. Your spine is straight. Your arms are by your side. And as you breathe, don't use a mantra. Let your body become the mantra for you. And as you look inside your body. An easy way to do this is, say, for instance, you put your arms, you're in mountain pose, and then you put your arms out to the sides and you push out with your hands. And as you breathe into your hands, you feel your muscle structures and you relax all of the muscles that you aren't using to support yourself. Relax all of the muscles that are not necessary and practice looking inside your body at your muscles. And when you learn to relax all the muscles that you're not using, the whole body stretches further, especially those tense muscles that you're actually stretching. You can relax those muscles. And what happens is that you're using your mind inside your body without imagination and without language. And that's the first step toward being able to look for your chakras inside your body and find your subtle body. So I'm trying to figure out a way to language the practice that I have, but the result of it is an increased radiance of the presence of the divine inside you and around you. That's not imaginative, that uses your mind and your breath to discover. I hope that helps a little bit. I'm going to begin at some point teaching what I do in my yoga practice as I continue to try to parse out inside my head exactly what I'm doing. Because I've been at this 40 years and where I began is not where I am now. Thank you, says CG. You're welcome. Cool, thanks. You're welcome. Kristen, thank you, says Olga. Nice explanation of yoga. Thank you. And it's a repetitive practice. And so I practice my meditation at the end of my yoga because I practice yoga these days, 2 days a week. Meditation 3 days a week in a 5-day week. On my work week, 3 days meditation, 2 days yoga, and on the weekends I do what I can according to the schedule that I have. But at the end of my yoga practice is when I sit in meditation because I've already built up the peacefulness of my mind. And then when I sit in my meditation, I can use my words if I want to inside my head. Or I can just already be in the space developed by the focus of my entire practice of meditation and just sit with my breath and continue to focus my mind. So, for instance, if I'm kneeling and at the end, I kneel when I meditate at the end of yoga. I don't sit cross-legged. I've got my thighs are too muscular for that. So I kneel because it's a very relaxed situation for me. My back is straight. And then I've got this line. I've got my crown chakra, my third eye, my throat, my heart, my solar plexus, right down the line. And then right to the bottom of the number one. And then I can run a line up and down inside without my imagination, just using my breath. And it naturally opens those channels. You can force it open with a stronger, more directed breath. You can inflame yourself by using your diaphragm to bring the prana up to your palms, up to your third eye, up to your crown, into your heart, wherever you want to place it. But it does take practice to be able to get to that point. And you can send your prana out your eyes or contain it in your voice. And the goal here isn't to send it to give someone a message of yourself. The goal here, for me anyway, in my life, is to get out of the way and allow the energy of God, the prana, the soul, the light itself, of which I am made and we all are, to be the vehicle of communication itself. Not my will in that, but the divine will inside of the projection of it. Not myself projecting it, but myself getting out of the way of it so that it can be projected into another person so that they might experience it. They might be able to feel it for themselves. I hope that helps a little bit too. Thank you. You're welcome, Vicky. Hi, Karen. You've been able to feel chakra by using sounds, vibrations. Om for one. Yeah, you can use vibrations and sound. Karen's very good at that. The sound of Om. Om. One of the things that happens in my meditation life is I just end up with mm, according to the Pantajali Sutras, or how else is it pronounced? Panjanali? No, it's Pantajali is the way I say it. The sound of God is but it's very difficult to vocalize a word out of that. And so you have the vibration of the comes naturally in my meditation life. I often end up 2 or 3 breaths in each meditation. Just I find it. I'm not forcing the. It just happens as a result of my vocal cords getting relaxed and the breath going by them. And you can use your Om as a mechanism for your practice as well, because Om is in the Sanskrit, the name, the vibration, the presence of the divine itself. Let's see. Sybil, does each chakra speak to you, introduce you to more of you? What's the value? It opens you up to the divine presence. It doesn't so much speak to me as I discover that all of them are the same. They all have the same energy of the divine. Yeah, they have particulars, like I see with my third eye, and I can project the presence through my second chakra. I can feel the love in my third, and let's see, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and the peace can flow through me. The point of all of it is to connect them in order to be a bigger vessel for the divine presence. The more we open each one up and the more they link together, the more capacity we have to have the radiance inside us. The emptier we become, the more we allow the space to open up, the more that the presence of the divine enters into us. And by linking the chakras together, you're utilizing your subtle body to make that space. At least that's how it works for me. Peace and love from Scotland. Hey, Maggie. Welcome from Scotland. Vicky, I have felt the incredible heat, but it was only my crown, not all my chakras. Yeah, it can rise to all of them. It can once you connect all of them together, the whole thing gets inflamed. And that includes your palms. I talk a lot about my palms because in my yoga practice, I use Warrior 5, which I'm over when I'm in. You get into warrior stance, and then I end up over my thigh with my chest and my arms projected out in front of me, kind of like that. And there's this space between my hands, and from the bottom of my foot, I can run my breath up the back of my leg, across out my spine, down my spine, and out through my crown and out my shoulders at the same time, and send it into each individual palm. And once you're able to create the space inside your palms, then you have the ability to run it outside your body as well, because the same energy, the same power of the divine that's inside your palm is the same that's inside your heart, that inside your throat. And then you can connect them outside yourself and stretch this thing larger, stretch this larger, because the body is a containment unit for the soul, but the soul is actually more expansive than the body. And in my yoga practice, I've stretched my soul into my palms, or I have not stretched it. I've moved the energy, the chi, the prana into my palms, or into my heart, or into my third eye, or into the other chakras, and and by pushing it into individual places, I then am able to link those places in my yoga practice with each other. So, for instance, if I'm on a yoga stance where my arm is above my head, I'm touching into the eighth or the ninth chakra, which is above you. And I can then connect to that with my palm and then run that line right down myself. I'm hoping that helps. Thank you, Olga, very, very much for that super chat this morning. I appreciate that donation. Thanks. Um, any other comments or questions, my friend? My friends. Thanks for you 20 for coming this morning. I appreciate it, and all the likes, and particularly the help, the financial help. That's very helpful. I appreciate that. So, if there are no more comments or questions, all right, my friends, I will see you if you come on Sunday to Not Church. Remember, we start a half an hour later now at 10 a.m. Eastern, and you're welcome to attend. I'd love to see you there. If not, I'll see you next week during our meditation time. Peace and love, everyone. Thanks for coming. You are the light of the world.